What is up, guys? It's been about a week since I've gone live. I've been kind of out of it trying to finish up this Mcat course, get it edited and out to you guys. And as you guys can see, I've been working so hard that this beard is just coming in thick. Good afternoon, Dr. Pinesett, as always. And hope everybody's having a good week and they had a good Easter. Spent some time with the family. And today I kind of want to finish up on the topic. Harpreet, hello, hello, hello. I want to kind of finish up on the topic that we started last week when I kind of got distracted with my kid and I had him on here. But I want to talk about having a family. Hey, 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 Terry. I want to talk about having a family in medicine, like seriously today, and how you can do it strategically. So, the first thing I want to assure you guys is that you can absolutely have a family and have a successful medical career. You can be a medical student with a family, you can be a resident with a family, you can be a doctor with a family. But, right, it's like with anything, it takes a strategy and having a plan to achieve that. And I think the very first thing um, the first thing is a lot of people even get worried about. And I was at a talk on Monday, and I was talking about some of the women in the audience were talking to my wife about how it is, with me in residency. And I think the first thing you have to do is figure out even balancing a partner situation. So it wouldn't be a good idea to get into a relationship and then not have worked out the kinks in your own relationship before you introduce kids and all those other things into it. And so even balancing with a busy schedule, even balancing having a significant other is hard. And something I see college students and pre-med students battle with a lot of times is they'll be in a relationship and the person they're in a relationship isn't understanding of the responsibilities and obligations and the time commitment it takes to be a successful pre-med. And so that relationship is doomed from the start because that person's not going to be as supportive as you need them to be for you to be successful in building your pre-med self, and then even in medical school when you get even busier. And so the very first thing I would say is if you're thinking about having a family is pick the right person who's, forget the kids, is just supportive of you and understands the commitment it is to become a doctor. And so that's number one, where people mess up is they don't pick someone who understands what that is and who understands that there's a lot of things, like when you're studying, right? When you're choosing to go to the library instead of hanging out, it's not because you're choosing, the books over them, but you understand that the books is for them. So you want a person who sees the long haul journey of what you're trying to do. Then when you bring into the factor that, thank you, Maynard, I appreciate that you think my videos are awesome. I think they're awesome. You bring into the factor the situation of having kids and all those kind of things. If you're a person who already has kids and you're going to enter medical school, or if you're a person who's going to have kids in medical school, or if you're a person kids in residency, there's a couple key things you have to do. One, I said that's a supportive partner for you. But the second thing is you have to find a partner that's going to be okay with raising the kids mostly themselves. Or you have to find someone that's okay with having a sitter there or someone else watching the kids. And so you kind of inside yourself, and you should find that partner who's okay with that. You have to be okay with that. So understand that you're not going to be able to spend a ton of time with your kids. And this is why it's so important, right? So figuring out that you're all right. Okay, listen, am I okay missing most of my kids' kind of early childhood? That's a serious question because for some people it's really bothersome. For me, it's bothersome, but I'm seeing it kind of as a means to an end. Like hopefully, I'll be able to spend more time with my kids. But like right now, it really is unfortunate. Like right now, even I just got home from work, but I missed my family went to SeaWorld today. And I'm like, man, SeaWorld is awesome. Shamu and all that kind of good stuff. And I missed it today. So I'm bummed about that. But at the same time, I'm hoping eventually to be able to do those things with my family and with my wife. And so that's kind of what you first have to be okay with it yourself, that you're going to miss a lot. Then knowing you're going to miss a lot, you have to have a very strong support system. And I want to for those of you who are single, right, the other parent is out of the picture, you can do it without that parent, but you have to have someone to fill in that parental role, even if it's multiple people. But you have to have someone because it truly is impossible to go through medicine as a single parent, medicine and medical school and residency as a single parent with no other support is going to be near impossible, guys, because you're not that available. You got to figure you're in class or you're with patients or whatever it is. So even if you don't have that other significant other, you got to have either some parents, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, whoever it is, somebody who can be there with your kid a good portion of the time. And people could say, oh, I can get a nanny and all that kind of stuff, and that's fine. But realistically, as a physician, you can do that. You can have a nanny and you can have a family. But as a medical student, as a resident, childcare is expensive. And so my parents who are watching this, you guys know childcare is expensive. And so it's not practical to get a nanny or to have childcare for as much time as you need during medical school and residency. And Terry just said, just it depends on the specialty you choose, and I will get into that in a second. But no matter what your specialty is, residency is busy for every single specialty. You don't have any control over your schedule. You have limited vacations. You have to work a certain amount of hours, and it's crazy, crazy hours. And they actually just recently passed the thing where they said that interns can go back to working 24-hour shifts and these long, crazy hours. And I won't even get in that today, but it's ridiculous because already, residents are burnt out, they're stressed out, they're depressed, all these things. And especially when you add in that people have other responsibilities like family and all those kind of things, it's too much. So you're going to need a support system to be there for your kid because you're not going to be there a lot. And with that, you have to have people who are going to be available and who aren't going to be bitter about it. And this goes for a significant other because sometimes, right, everyone's trying to do their own career. And it's hard for two people to be trying to pursue a career while you're in residency or while you're in medical school because it's more than a full-time career. And so if you have someone else who's like, listen, I shouldn't have to watch the kid, I should be developing my own career, then it's not going to work out. You have to have someone who's willing to kind of put their career on hold for a second so that way you can get your career off the ground in terms of medical school and residency and they can come back to you. So I think having that support system is so key. The other thing I would say, and this kind of came up today because, so I said my family's at SeaWorld right now, but my wife is sick. So my wife is pregnant, crazy pregnant, and she's sick right now. To compound that, and my kid is in the super active phase where he's running everywhere. And so I called her earlier when I was on my way home, and they're at SeaWorld, and she sounded a little down. And so one of the other things that makes it really, really work and successful with a family is you have to be able to listen and know your partner and be there for your partner. And one of I like talking about movies because everyone's seen movies, and movies are sometimes pretty true to life. And a really great movie, if you've never seen it, you should see it, is White Men Can't Jump. I don't know who's ever seen that movie out there, but White Men Can't Jump, Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes, great movie. But one of the things that happens in this movie is that Woody Harrelson is this guy who loves gambling on basketball and playing these basketball games and wagering money. And his girlfriend tells him, hey, no more wagering on money. Don't do this. You're going to lose the money and we're going to be in bad trouble. And so Wesley Snipes convinces Woody Harrelson to gamble all of his money away. And he gambles all the money away, and then he goes home, and his girlfriend ends up leaving him. And then he goes to Wesley Snipes like, man, you told me to gamble the money. Why did she leave me? And he says, the number one rule, always listen to the woman. And this is so true in relationships, guys, that we don't listen to the woman because women are very, very verbal. Right? They will tell you what they want. And even when they say the opposite, you know what they really want. And so you have to be in tune with your partner and with your family and know when it's important that, hey, yes, I could spend some time, studying some medicine or doing some things. Like tonight, I have some work to do to finish up my Mcat course and finish editing that. But I'm not going to do that right now because I understand that she's having a tough day. And so I'm going to go be with them. And so she's actually going to come home right now and pick me up and we're going to go have some family time. Mostly me watching the kid. And she's going to sit there and kind of observe us. But those are the kind of things that you have to be in tune with your partner and with your kids of understanding when they need you and being willing to break away from whatever you have to do to be there for them. And so understanding, I think those things are really, 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 really make you successful in terms of having a family. The last thing, and it's a really big factor, is picking a specialty. And so many people underestimate the importance of picking a specialty, assuming that all doctors have terrible lives. And for the most part, most specialties are pretty terrible for family lives, but some are even worse. And so if you're a person who wants to have a family, then you cannot do surgery. It's just the facts of the game, guys. If you really, really want to be a person who's spending lots of time with your family, then being a surgeon is not feasible because as a surgery resident, you're at the hospital a whole bunch. And then even when you're a physician, you're constantly on call, getting paged, all those kind of things. So it's not a family centric specialty. And we always joke as an anesthesiologist that the surgeons must hate their families because they're constantly operating late night cases, getting called in all the time. And it's like, when do they even see their family? And we have one spinal surgeon who schedules cases at all nights of the hour, all hours of the night and all during the day and bounces from facility to facility. And so it's like, man, does he ever go home? And so surgery is not really family friendly. I would say that primary care is pretty family friendly because you tend to have more business-like hours of 8 to 5, 9 to 5-ish if you're doing outpatients, so pediatrics, even family medicine or internal medicine. A lot of people think OBGYN is a family-friendly specialty. It's actually not because You people have babies 24/7, and so you can get called in for your patients and different types of things. I think anesthesia is a nice family friendly specialty. It's a lot of hours, but at the same time, your hours are scheduled, so you know when you're getting off a lot of times, and so that's kind of handy to have. I think that in addition to primary care, some of the outpatient specialties in terms of like there's occupational medicine, which is really family friendly because it's all office work. Additionally, if you work in a specialty where you can control your own practice hours, so something like plastic surgery, if you get a practice, you can be in charge and you can control your hours. But I think that there's really, in derm is really family friendly. Even radiology is family friendly because there's never any emergencies in radiology. So when your shift is off, your shift is off. So picking a specialty is really, really important. And you shouldn't just, if you want to have a family, you shouldn't just pick things based on what you like doing. So Terry commented that she wants to be a surgeon and have a family. It's going to be really, really hard. And people do it, but understanding what is acceptable to you. So kind of putting in all these things and all these factors, having a plan for making your family dynamic, whatever you want it to be, a reality. I hope that makes sense. And so I think those are the most important considerations when having a family. The other thing is having a family is very expensive. From people who have kids, I don't know why kids are so expensive. Like my kid's shoes cost more than my shoes, and I'm like, it's his shoes are like 2 inches long. How can that shoe? Mine's got 15 times more material. How can my shoe be less expensive? But kids are very expensive, and so having a financial plan in place and making sure you save in advance for when you have these kids, and then having a way to support yourself and pay for the kids is important because that puts super stress on relationships. And the number one cause for divorce in America actually is finances, believe it or not. You would think it was cheating or something crazy, but it's just finances. People get really stressed out, puts a big stress on the relationship, and the whole relationship falls apart. So you have to either A, have a financial plan for having kids, or have a partner who's cool with being broke with you. So you guys can sit there and be broke together and stare at each other and be okay with that. And so you don't need all the extra entertainment and all those kind of things. And so that's what I would say about having a family in medicine, that it's definitely doable, but medicine is not really a family-friendly career. So understand that. So that's what I have to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to look at some of these questions real quick. I'm not going to stay on here for too long tonight, but Maynard, what up? Casey, been waiting for this video. Terry, yes. Seems like marriage in medical school takes great communication skills, taking advantage of small breaks to tend to that relationship and much patience. I think you hit it on the head, Caitlin. It's all those things. It's having communication skills, taking advantage of small breaks. So like if you have a weekend, going away together, being together, and then just having patience and understanding that, someone's always not going to be available and that you are still supportive of them. And then wants to be a pediatrician, but I'm so scared I won't have time to be a mommy and a doctor. Pediatrician is actually one of the more family-friendly specialties, especially because it's a culture within that specialty that, right, it's family-centric because you're working with kids, so they have more of an understanding of needing to be there for your kids. No way that's the same with me, Terry. I'm a mom of three and I want to be a surgeon. So Casey, mom of three wanting to be a surgeon, it's hard to do. You can do it. I'm just being honest with you that it is very difficult. Can anesthesiologists get their own practice? No, they cannot. So anesthesiologists don't drive patients to the hospital, so they can't, unless you go into pain management, which you can have your own practice for. Schvel, wait, this is how I'm tired I am. I can't pronounce. Spell, S-P shell, spell. Gosh, why can't I speak? Spell. Anyway, Caitlin, I know that hours are important in a specialty, but what about residency length? Does the lack of pay in residency, I know y'all probably get paid squat, cause the partner to have to work? And so I think absolutely residency makes it really tough to have a family because it's not adjusted for where you live. So here in California, right, the average residency salary is anywhere from $51,000 to $54,000, which sounds like a lot of money to you guys because you guys are students. But it's not a lot of money, especially after taxes. And then when you factor in the cost of living in California, it's super expensive. So it's really hard to make ends meet. So I think that's something else I didn't mention. But when planning a family, it might be smart, if you're going to have a family, is to go to a medical school in a place that has a low cost of living. And then also go to a residency in a place that has low cost of living. And so somewhere like Duke, where you're in North Carolina, the cost of living is like peanuts compared to what it is in California. And so that would actually help you to have a family, be able to support a family. Um, Quick question: is it a bad idea to go to Caribbean school? Yeah, I got a video on that. Thank you, Terry, for correcting me. Yeah, that's an easy video, but bad idea. 40 and prepping for medical school. I love it. Thank you so much for advice. You're welcome. How do you balance fitness and medicine? What about during medical school? So if you have a family, so everything, you can't do everything. So I'm gaining weight at a rapid at a rapid rate because I can't exercise because I have time with my family, time with my residency, time with you guys. So there isn't time to balance everything. I think you just kind of have to prioritize what's the most important to you. And right now, fitness, kind of got to let that go to do all the other things that I want to do in my life. Is UCI good for pre-med? Of course. Zot for my anteaters. UCI is the best. Why? You should always go to UCI. Special. Got it. Like Michelle, but special. Okay, got it. Special. Maynard, of course, a lot of questions can be found if you just watch this video. Yeah, so watch my videos, guys, and like a lot of times the titles can tell you everything. So when I talk about, I had a video, it cracks me up because it's super rich in information, but a lot of people watch it. They've asked me these questions. Is I have 3 things you can learn from the movie Aladdin, and that video is really, really rich because it covers 3 different topic areas in each part of those things. But people don't really watch that video. But I don't know. But there's lots of richness on my channel, so check out other videos. Like before you start asking crazy questions, watch all my videos. There's tons of information on here. My specialty is anesthesia. Does getting residency in a state that makes it easier to get a job in that same state? It does, because you make connections, right? Like anything. So if you do a residency in an area where you want to work, you're going to have much more opportunities to network and meet the people that are in charge in those areas. So what is your opinion on living with family while in medical school? I think if you can live with family, it's a great option because you're saving money on rent. You also have support there, especially if you want to have kids. Having that constant childcare there is amazing. And so I mentioned constant childcare. My wife just got here, so that means it's time for me to go. So I'm going to get out of here right now. But thank you guys again for tuning in live. If you like this, please hit like right now and let me know you like this video. And please, guys, tell a friend. Tell a friend that there's this guy who does amazing videos on YouTube. He gives you real advice that's practical that you can put into place. And also, right, share the video. Just send it out on your social media. Let people know that I'm out here. It would really mean a lot to me and help me kind of spread this word that if you want to be successful, you can be successful, but it takes the right plan. And I'm hoping to kind of give you guys some of this great advice that'll help steer you towards making good decisions. And so thank you guys very much for hopping on here with me. I really appreciate it. And like I said, like this video, share this video, and tell a friend about my YouTube channel. Oh, you come on at the end of the wind. So make sure you guys subscribe. And when you guys subscribe, make sure you turn on notifications so you guys get notified when I go live. The other thing is, I didn't announce it today because it was kind of spur of the moment. It just kind of was inspired by talking to my wife. Do you want to say hi? Oh, my wife doesn't want to say hi to you guys. But I do announce when I go live pretty regularly on my YouTube channel. So, or not my YouTube channel, I'm sorry, on my Instagram and on my Facebook. So if you're not following me on Instagram and on Facebook, please follow me. The other thing I'm going to start doing now that I'm having some more courses out is that I'm going to start having lots of giveaways. So if you are not on my social media, you are slipping because I'm going to start having lots of good giveaways and just kind of giving you guys great value. Yeah, that's all I got for today. Oh, the other thing is, look out. We had an awesome, I don't know whoever was there last week, but we had an awesome free Mcat webinar last week. It was thebomb.com, as somebody said. And so I'm looking to do a lot more of these webinars because it's easy for you guys, I think, just to hop on a phone or hop on a computer and check it out. And so I'm going to be trying to do a lot more of these free and low-cost webinars. So that way you guys can, A, get some information, but also interact with me, get your questions answered, and really kind of start to feel confident about your journey to get to medical school or to get to dental school. I did a conference this past weekend in Maryland with the dental society. So it was cool to talk to some pre-dental students as well as some pre-medical students. But anyway, so thank you guys very much. You guys know the website, right? premedproductivity.com. You guys have my email address. It's in all these videos in the descriptions. So be on the lookout. More webinars coming for you guys, more courses coming for you guys. premedproductivity.com. And if you're watching these videos, it cracks me up. People watch these videos, they subscribe, they send me emails for advice, and then I check to see if they've watched my free course. I have a free course on my website, and they haven't watched my free course, which would get them kind of jump-started on their progress. So if you have not already, get over to my website and watch my free course. Why would you not take it's free. just like this, but it's longer. It's a couple hours long, and it's good advice. So anyway, I'm out of this place. I'll see you guys later.